Good afternoon. Welcome to the Assisted Housing Governing Board, which will convene prior to the start of today's formal council meeting. I will call the meeting to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Board Member Ansari.
Here.
Board Member DeCiccio.
Here.
Board Member Garcia.
Here.
Board Member Guardado.
Here.
Board Member Maggard.
Here.
Board Member O'Brien.
Here.
Board Member Stark.
Here.
Board Member Waring.
Here.
Vice Chair Pastor.
Here.
Chairwoman Gallego.
Here. Thank you for joining us. Item number 3 is a resolution related to our scattered site single-family home. Board Member Maggard, do you have a motion?
Motion to approve Resolution 211. Second.
We have a motion and a second. I'll turn to Councilman DeCiccio for comments.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. And this is something I think as a city we need to at least put on our radar, and if not, do something about it. And we saw this happening across the country. I've kind of kept track of it. There are other cities, well, not other cities, individuals have started realizing that members with vouchers were coming into their community, and the HOAs in particular were finding a way to stop it. And now the majority of individuals that are on these housing vouchers are people of color. They've got families. They're good people. They're actually excellent people that you would want in your community. But HOAs across the country have started banning them from being allowed in their community. And I believe that there's a racial connotation of that. I firmly believe that. That's without a doubt in my mind, at least. And we're starting to see that now in the city of Phoenix, where HOAs are starting to ban Section 8 vouchers because they don't want certain people living in their community. And as a city, I would be fully supportive of working on this and trying to come up with a solution to stop that practice, because I do believe it's racially based. And one of the ways to do that is to go after the insurance providers that provide insurance that insure these type of communities. You know, one is to either reach out to them as a city and talk to them. I would do that as a first step, and then start an enforcement practice after that. So it's something to think about, and if anybody wants to pursue something like that, I'd be happy to. I've got some documentation already. I feel very strongly they don't have a property right to racially discriminate. They really don't. And anyone who's involved in real estate would understand that. So it's just something to think about. I'm fully supportive of these items here, but I just want to put that on the radar screen of the city of Phoenix, and I'd be supportive of doing what we need to do. I'd like to step it in if people would be willing to do that, and then go into more of an enforcement action if people refuse to allow individuals into their community. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Guardado.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I mean, I agree with Councilmember DeCiccio. I'd be more than happy to help with some of that. I know that we get a lot of complaints in the district as well. So whatever I can do to be helpful, like I would like to support that as well. Thank you, Mayor.
Wonderful. Thank you. Roll call.
Ansari.
Yes.
DeCiccio.
Yes.
Garcia.
May I make a comment, Mayor?
Yes.
I agree with what's been said, and I wonder, just kind of asking back to staff, if this is something we can address in a policy session, or if we can get a briefing of current discrimination policy or any other avenues that we can take to make sure that this no longer happens. But with that, I'm a yes.
Guardado.
Yes.
Maggard.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Pastor. Gallego. Passes 10-0.
We next move to agenda item 4, which is agency planning, annual documents, action plans to submit to the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Board Member Maggard, do you have a motion?
Motion to approve Resolution 212.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments? Roll call.
Ansari. DeCiccio.
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes.
Guardado.
Yes.
Maggard. I apologize. I did not hear that. Maggard.
Yes.
Thank you. O'Brien.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Pastor. Gallego. Passes 10-0.
Thank you. Thank you, Board Member Maggard, for your service. With that, we will adjourn the Assisted Housing Governing Board meeting. Thank you for joining us, and we will convene the formal meeting of the Phoenix City Council. We'll call the meeting to order, and I'll turn to the city clerk to call the roll.
Councilwoman Ansari. Councilman DeCiccio.
Here.
Councilmember Garcia.
Here.
Councilwoman Guardado.
Here.
Councilwoman O'Brien.
Here.
Councilwoman Stark.
Here.
Councilman Waring.
Here.
Vice Mayor Pastor.
Here.
Mayor Gallego.
We have an interpreter here with us to provide Spanish translation. Mario, would you introduce yourself?
Hello, Mayor, and good afternoon. My name is Mario Barajas, and together with everybody here at the City Council formal meeting, I will be interpreting for our Spanish speakers. And now I will take a moment to introduce myself to our Spanish speaking audience. Hola, buenas tardes. Bienvenidos a la reunión formal del Consejo Municipal. Mi nombre es Mario Barajas y estaré sirviéndoles hoy como intérprete a los de habla hispana. De antemano pedimos de que si es que van a estar dando un comentario público, por favor, hable despacio, con claridad y evite tener distracciones de fondo. Finalmente, pause después de cada una o dos oraciones para que les pueda interpretar lo que esté diciendo de la manera más completa posible. Muchas gracias. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mario. Will the city clerk please read the 24-hour paragraph?
The titles of the following ordinance and resolution numbers on the agenda were available to the public at least 24 hours prior to this council meeting and therefore may be read by title or agenda item only. Ordinances number G6973 and 6974, S48392 through 48443 and 48445 through 48448, and resolutions 22003 through 22009.
Thank you. We move to agenda item number 1, boards and commissions. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve mayor and city council boards and commissions nominations.
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay. Passes unanimously. The City Council advises the state of Arizona on liquor license applications. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve items 2 through 15.
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay. Passes unanimously. City Clerk, are we ready for ordinances, resolutions, new business, and planning and zoning?
Yes, Mayor.
Vice Mayor, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve items 16 through 100, except the following. Items 27, 28, 41, 60, 61, 63, 64, and 74. And excluding these items for public comment, item 41, 48, 65, and 100.
Second.
Any comments or corrections? Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Guardado, O'Brien,
Yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Pastor,
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 9-0.
I occasionally share updates related to housing because it is so important to our community. Among the votes that were on today's consent agenda was one allowing us 2 7-story apartment buildings to move forward, another related to 130-unit development, as well as down payment assistance, homeless outreach, and navigation. So thank you to my colleagues for taking unanimous action on many items related to housing. We next move to the payment ordinance. We have 2 items on the payment ordinance related to water memberships and annual payment authorities, 27 and 28. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion on 27 and 28?
I move 27. Can I bundle? I move 27 and 28. Or I make a motion. Can I do that?
Second.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second from Councilwoman Stark. Any comments? Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
No.
Garcia,
Yes.
Guardado,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Stark, Waring,
No.
Pastor,
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 7-2.
We next move to item 41. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion?
I move item 41.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Yes.
Sorry.
Was it Ken? Sorry. Wonderful. Thank you. We do have one member of the public here to comment. And as a good reminder, I was meant to turn to our city attorney to explain public comment, and I did not do so as I was supposed to at the beginning of the meeting. My apologies. So city attorney, could I turn to you now to introduce the role of public comment in the city council meeting?
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the public may speak for up to 2 minutes to comment on agenda items to be discussed. Comments must be related to the agenda item and the action being considered by the council. General comments that go beyond the scope of the agenda item must be made in the citizen comment session at the end of the agenda. The city code requires speakers to present their comments in a respectful and courteous manner. Profane language, threats, or personal attacks on members of the public, council members, or staff are not allowed. A person who violates these rules will lose their opportunity to continue to speak.
Thank you to our city attorney. The person who had registered for public comment on this item is not with us, so we will turn to any council comments or questions. Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
No.
Garcia,
Yes.
Guardado,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
No.
Pastor,
Yes.
Gallego. Passes 7-2.
Thank you. The individual who pulled 41 for comment also pulled 48 and is not with us. 48 is the open data portal hosting annual renewal. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion?
I move item 41, open data portal hosting annual renew.
Second.
I think you mean 48. I think I heard 41.
I did. It's 48. Thank you, Sal. I
You're
wanted you to
welcome,
vote
Laura.
yes on
Vice
41.
Mayor. Well, you're welcome, Vice Mayor.
Wonderful. So do we have a motion and a second on item 48 then?
Second.
Wonderful. Any comments? Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Guardado,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Stark. I apologize, I didn't hear that. Stark,
Yes.
thank you. Waring,
Yes.
Pastor,
Yes.
Gallego. Passes 9-0.
Woo-hoo.
We next move to item 60, Emergency Utility Assistance Contract Amendment. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion?
I move item 60.
Second.
Wonderful, thank you. This is a partnership with Wildfire, formerly known as the Community Action Associations, with whom we've been working for years on utility assistance. And we appreciate our utility partners who also support this program. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
No.
Garcia,
Yes.
Guardado,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
No.
Pastor,
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 7-2.
We next move to item 61, COVID-19 Behavioral Health Support Services Agreement. Do we have a motion?
I move item 61, COVID-19 Behavioral Health Support Services Agreement.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. I'll turn to Councilmember Garcia for comments.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I wanted to thank all the community members and organizations who gave us feedback through stakeholder meetings we've had and the work that they've done about what they're seeing in the communities through the pandemic. Top of their list was the effect of on community members' mental health. I'm proud for the first time the city is making such a large investment in helping our community partners to provide mental health and behavioral health services for our community members. I had a couple of questions. I don't know if Marshall, if you're available, or someone from staff that can answer some questions.
Mayor, Councilmember, Marshall Franklin is making her way to the table.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us and answering some questions. Again, Marshall and the folks in your department, we're giving you another huge task, but we know it's a need, and we know you all are up for making sure that this the community gets the support that they need. I think the first question I wanted to ask is, could you give us an overview of the partnership with Mercy Care and what the community can expect from this project?
Good afternoon, Mayor Gallego and Councilman Garcia. Yes, so as you may recall, in the summer of last year during our budget hearings, we heard very clearly from our community regarding the need for the city to provide supports for those in our community who may not have access to mental health or behavioral health services, as well as services around substance use and other types of behavioral health needs. And so staff spent time researching and determined that the best organization to partner with is Mercy Care. And I have joining me at the table Mayor and Council Tad Gary, who is the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of Mercy Care, as well as Dr. Blythe Fitzharris, who serves as their Chief Clinical Officer. And the expertise that Mercy Care brings to the table being what is a regional behavioral health funding authority for Maricopa County, also being responsible for providing emergency crisis response throughout the county and responsible for coordinating that network. And because Mercy Care has contracts through the federal government for delivery of both behavioral health, substance abuse types of services, as well as wraparound supportive services, and then in addition, having partners that they contract with for delivery of services at a grassroots level, if you will, is why staff recommends contracting with Mercy Care for the delivery of the program.
Thank you, and thank you to the Mercy Care folks for joining us. I have another series of questions just to kind of make sure we're clear and folks watching are clear what this is going to look like. How are people going to be able to receive these services, and who's going to be able to qualify?
Mayor Gallego and Councilman Garcia, I would like to turn to Tad or Blythe from Mercy Care to provide a little bit more detail to that response.
Hi, so I'm Blythe Fitzharris. So to answer that question, individuals will be able to receive the services. So our intent is to contract with providers that work in the community as well as federal qualified health centers. And so folks would be able to go into either one of these contracted facilities or engage with Navigator community staff. In regards to the folks that will be eligible, it'll be folks that are in the city of Phoenix that are underinsured or non-insured, and that would include individuals that do not have documentation of citizenship.
And then I guess another question for you all is, how are we going to be, I guess it's for both of y'all, how are we going to be measuring success? And how could we add some sort of qualitative feedback process or the ability for those that we are serving to also kind of engage in that feedback process?
So Mayor Gallego and Councilman Garcia, in addition to some metrics that we've defined, staff defined, which include, of course, tracking the number of individuals that we're serving, committing to do at least 100 per month, individuals as families, as well as demographics around that. There's some additional components that as we were providing briefings to yourself and to your colleagues that we want to incorporate into that, and I'll allow Tad or Blythe to talk further about that.
Yeah. This is Tad Gary, Deputy CEO for Mercy Care. Again, really appreciate this opportunity and working very closely with the city and others within the community to really address the needs that we all see for the residents here in the city. As it relates to outcomes, one of the important aspects that we recognize is to work very closely with community members and helping to continue to define what those outcomes should be. As Marshall had noted, we've had a series of conversations with Council with regards to what some of those data elements should be as we track, but we recognize that this will be an evolutionary process too, and that flexibility within how we track those outcomes will be paramount as we work closely with everyone. So we will have some standard set of outcomes that we will be tracking with regards to, as Marshall said, just looking at the overall utilization of these services, so the number of individuals coming in for services, but also demographic information, so certain the areas within Phoenix who's receiving services and when, as well as some other demographics such as race, ethnicity, age, sex, and whatnot. We'll also use that data to further help expand and outreach to additional individuals if we're seeing a underutilization of certain areas or groups. That's the commitment by which we're operating under.
And Mayor Gallego and Councilman Garcia, if I could also add to what Tad has mentioned, one of the things that we heard as we were briefing is the ability to take the data at the end of this contract period and determine how best we can provide recommendations back to Mayor and City Council about where we saw successes in outcomes and moving the needle, if you will, and where maybe we had additional gaps that more services for our community, if funding is available, would allow us to fill in some additional gaps that maybe weren't identified early on. So our goal would be is collecting data that shows that we are truly moving a needle, that we are meeting needs, that we're having positive outcomes, and again, where we can increase those types of services, or where if we see there's still gaps, we could come back and potentially say, here would be recommendations for further support in our community around behavioral health, substance use, those types of treatments.
Thank you all for sharing that. I know sometimes as council or policymakers, we set out big goals and put a program out there like this and expect for it to just happen. And so I really appreciate that sentiment and your commitment to be able to meet with stakeholders, with organizations, with neighborhood leaders, just to make sure that we're aware of how we're connecting with them and folks have access to this. So I'm excited for it. I'm really proud that we're going to be able to meet this need. And as some of our other programs grow, like the community assistance program and others that are going to be in need of mental health assistance, we see it now already with some of partners like CBI or other organizations that just don't have the bandwidth to be able to support folks. I'm excited that we're able to grow the arena with this investment, and thank you all for taking this task on and looking forward to hearing recommendations. I think, at least for myself on council, we want this to be successful, and I think most of my colleagues are willing to be flexible to make sure that this is successful. So thank you all so much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Ansari.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Marshall. I also had similar questions to Councilman Garcia, so thank you so much for answering those. Honestly, just want to applaud this program. It's such a relief and a weight off of our shoulders, I feel, to see that mental health is no longer a taboo issue and that we are actually investing in it as a city. Really happy to hear that documentation status will not affect access to care. I also have been meeting with community groups in my district, especially in South and West Phoenix, looking at Maryvale, South Phoenix, Holliston, Levine, and there is a huge need in this area. I think there's been disproportionate impact from COVID-19, so I hope that we can really prioritize these areas with the Mercy Care program. I also want to name other communities that have been left behind. There are newly arriving refugees who have had to wait up to 8 months, or who have been told that they will have to wait 8 months to receive care. I specifically have spoken with Afghan women who are studying at Arizona State University who have gone through an unimaginable amount of trauma, and already connected the IRC and Arizona State University to Marshall. I just want to give her a huge shout out in this space to thank her for already working towards giving them services as well. I think supporting our current residents as well as our new residents is extremely important. So thank you so much. And please, if we can be helpful in any way, let us know. But I hope that this is the start of significant investments from the city in mental health care. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Vice Mayor.
Good afternoon. Thank you to everybody. Tad, you can smile a little bit, relax. We're not that scary. You look very nervous from when I spoke to you yesterday, so I just wanted to give you some support. One of my questions, or what I would like to review the initial list of the data elements and review them and see if they align with a lot of us on council, or if there's some additional data points that need to be added. Secondly, after our conversation yesterday, I was thinking about it, and I wanted to know if there were going to be any navigators on the light rail platform and on Canal, so that we're touching everybody on different access points or on transportation arenas or areas.
Mayor Gallego and Vice Mayor Pastor, the intention of the mental health program is to ensure that we are meeting all of the hot spots, if you will, in our community. We do know that along our canals and the other places that you referenced, that there is a need. So our navigation services, in terms of the outreach that would occur to educate and inform and get individuals into the services, would include those areas. Additionally, we will be ensuring that we work very closely with other outreach providers directly involved in the services that we provide to those experiencing homelessness, for example, Community Bridges, Inc., so that they now have an additional tool in the tool belt, if you will, to use a term by one of our colleagues here, in terms of the services that are available when they are out there doing outreach and engagement. We also will be ensuring, as it relates to outreach and navigation, that as other city departments are encountering individuals in the course of what they are doing along the canals and other areas who may be experiencing homelessness, know that there is an outreach via Mercy Care in this contract to get those individuals connected with services.
Thank you. What about the light rail? Because I don't know if I know City Manager Barton is there. There were several years ago, I want to say 5 or 6 years, that we put money into the budget for navigation on the light rail and to work with the population on the light rail platform and trying to connect them to services. So I'm assuming that funding is still there. And I guess where I'm going in the bigger picture is, how will this then interact with other programs that are currently exist? And how is that interaction going to happen? In particular, I remember this morning the light rail piece, there's the canal piece, and Phoenix Cares.
So, Mayor Gallego and Vice Mayor Pastor, you are correct. Several years ago, there were funds that were set aside specifically through the Public Transit Department, where there are outreach teams that are assigned solely to working along the light rail platform, and I think several hundred feet adjacent to the light rail throughout the Phoenix portion of light rail. And so, again, this would be an opportunity for those outreach teams that are assigned to the light rail to leverage the ARPA mental health program that we have available. That currently is CBI who provides that outreach, and CBI will be and continues to be connected in the ARPA mental health program. So those outreach teams that are already working along the light rail will know that they have a direct connection to the ARPA mental health funding and resources via this particular program we're talking about right now.
Thank you. And I know I said light rail, but I guess what I want to say is the transportation connectivity, which could also mean our bus stops at certain points. So I'm just thinking holistically, so you know what I'm thinking about. Thank you. Really appreciate all the hard work.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. And I think your last comment on the entire transit system does make a lot of sense. Director Franklin and I have been talking about the need for this type of outreach around the bus system as well. So it would be great to have an additional resource. Thank you so much to everyone who's worked to bring this item forward. We are hearing a lot from our community about this need. This is on top of our $15 million community assistance program. The CAP program is an ongoing program which will help deploy clinicians and people with expertise in behavioral health. This is funded with one-time federal funds, and so hopefully we'll get a big impact on some real challenges in our community. From my perspective, the more we can target these resources towards people who are unsheltered or who are at risk at being unsheltered, that is a real priority for us, and money particularly well targeted. We want to make sure people have the tools they need to be in a safe, sustainable housing environment and address any challenges, particularly those on the behavioral health side, to that. I also appreciate that this does include financial assistance for those who have not been able to enroll in other programs. In the briefing materials we received, it did mention that we'll help people with their transportation solutions and mention some national transportation companies by name. Councilwoman Ansari's comment reminded me that we do have people with a wide variety of language challenges, and we have transportation providers, for example, are most familiar with our Somali community or local companies who have a lot of assets. Would those local companies also be eligible to participate in this program?
Absolutely, Mayor. Through this work, we recognize too that having an awareness of some of the unique needs of the community, expand to various different groups, and with that we need to have other partners brought to the table, and so that absolutely would be the case in addressing those needs.
It's wonderful news. And then a question for Director Franklin. We've been talking about in this item, the city has great partnerships with several other entities, CBI, we have the CAP program. How will we coordinate all of these efforts to make sure that we are not duplicating, but enhancing?
Mayor Gallego, we are going, well, let me first start by stating that Mercy Care already works very closely with our public safety, our fire department, our police department, and in particular with DC Ernst and her team around the community assistance program, as well as a former program that we had under DC. So there's already the connection there. The way we are working with this is a system both internal to the city and our departments, and then external is that our community assistance program would be, if you will, for crisis mental health needs, and this ARPA would be for your non-crisis. So the thought behind this and how we are working together will be that as our first responders and those who are responding under the community assistance program find that you have individuals that may have long-term needs, because there's already connection with Mercy Care, and by nature of what Mercy Care is tasked with doing on the crisis response side of mental health, we already have the engagement. So where we see there are individuals who need long-term types of treatment that can benefit from the services that will be available under ARPA, there's already a natural connection with that, if you will. And then opposite, if you will, if we encounter someone in the course of navigating marketing outreach regarding the ARPA mental health program and find that there's someone who is in crisis and in immediate need, we will be able to connect either directly to Mercy Care or work through our community assistance program to get that immediate connection. So the fortunate thing is that Mercy Care is already actively involved in our program. And so this is just, to use the term, another tool in the tool belt, where we internally will make sure that we keep those efforts coordinated so that we can ensure seamless service for our residents.
Wonderful. And I understand our telehealth provider partners will also get training and understanding of the partnership with Mercy Care, so that, again, more tools. We have a theme today. Wonderful. Do we have any additional comments or questions? Roll call. Councilman DeCiccio.
Oh, I could have done it. So we can do roll call and just make some quick comments, Mayor.
Oh, we'd love to hear your comments now.
Okay. Well, I want to thank Councilmember Garcia for his work on this, and Marshall and all the other individuals. You know, as a general rule, I've not been the most supportive of a lot of our programming, just because I think it's been ineffective, but I think this thing has a lot of potential. I really do. We're teaming, we're partnering with a group that really understands this world. And so I am real excited about this. I think that this could be one of our best partnerships that we've had on many levels, from partnerships and construction to anything else. But even on this one here, individually, I think this has a lot of legs on it, and I'm real excited about it. And I don't generally say those things, but I do want to thank Councilmember Garcia and the others that have worked on this. Marshall, your entire team, Mayor, everybody else that put this thing together. You have a lot to be thankful for. You picked a team that knows what they're doing. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Council Member. Any additional comments? And I'll add, this calls on so many of the partners who have helped us get through very difficult times, including our federally qualified health centers who helped us with COVID. So thank you to all for who are stepping up yet again for our city. Roll call.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
DeCiccio.
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes.
Guardado.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Gallego. Passes 9-0.
Woohoo.
Next, we turn to item 63, which is related to our South Mountain Technology Corridor and a development agreement with Skinell Properties. This is in Council District 7. I will turn to Councilwoman Ansari.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a very exciting day for Levine and Estrella and residents who have long anticipated a quality developer to take the first step in executing the vision for the South Mountain Technology Corridor. I personally am deeply invested in making sure that this project sets the stage for what's to come in Levine. I want to specifically thank the developer, Chris Mackey, planning, Alan Stevenson, everyone who's been involved, the mayor, Councilman Garcia, everyone who's been part of this, especially for the willingness of the developer to agree to a 3-year moratorium on any distribution buildings as part of their project so that we actually have the time to attract high-wage tech and manufacturing jobs, which is a core part and the vision for the South Mountain Technology Corridor. So with that, I move to approve item 63 with the following stipulation. For the term of this agreement, any buildings that are constructed or tenants who have distribution as its primary use, as defined in Ordinance G-6905, will not be included in the reimbursement calculation for public infrastructure. Further, for the term of this agreement, if a building is included in the reimbursement calculation and later houses a tenant with distribution as a primary use, the funds already reimbursed to the developer shall be withheld from subsequent reimbursements.
Second.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Councilman Ansari, for your work on this corridor and particularly for that motion. We'll ensure we are pursuing the type of high-wage employment that our residents have told us they would like to see in the South Mountain Tech Corridor. So really appreciate your motion. Additional comments? Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Guardado,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Stark, Waring,
Yes.
Pastor,
Congratulations, yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 9-0.
Woohoo, here we go.
And the good news continues with item 64, which is healthcare facility bonds related to the Mayo Clinic. Do we have a motion?
I move to item 64.
Second.
Go ahead.
Second.
Wonderful, thank you. I want to recognize Councilman Waring, who has been working on this project. The Mayo Clinic is going to be making huge investments in the city of Phoenix, and very excited about this. I had a chance to meet with their leadership and talk about how they might be able to better serve our entire community with treatments such as helping people who are fighting cancer get the very best care. They're also doing some very commendable partnerships with tribal communities and others. This is the type of deal I am looking for from the Industrial Development Authority. It is development in the city of Phoenix that will benefit the city of Phoenix. So I hope that the Industrial Development Authority Board and staff will continue to pursue projects like this one. Thank you so much. Additional comments?
Congratulations to Waring and all of us.
Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Guardado,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
Mayor, your comments were spot on, and I vote aye.
Pastor,
Waring working hard. Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 9-0.
Woohoo, yay. And another one.
All right. Next, we go to item 65, request to apply for and accept federal fiscal year 2021 fire prevention and safety grant programs. Do we have a motion?
I move item 65.
Second.
Wonderful. Thank you. We do have many members of the public to comment on this item. We'll begin with Vanessa DiCarlo, followed by Anicia Groves.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yes, we can. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Sorry, I'm having
Yes, we can.
an echo. Okay, so I am just really curious. I have no idea what in the world you're all thinking. This notice of claim regarding Sal DeCiccio revealed text messages providing Sal DeCiccio, Police Chief Jerry Williams, President of Phoenix Law Enforcement Association, Plea, Britt London, County Attorney Alistair Adele, and Tom Van Dorn, First Responders Bureau Liaison Supervisor, were all scheming, including to silence and imprison demonstrators for exercising their First Amendment rights, and none of you, not one of you, condemned Sal.
Excuse me, the item that is before the council on this particular moment is item 65, which is a grant for the fire department from the federal government to pay for self-contained breathing apparatus. If your comments are relative to that, please speak to those. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate our city manager clarifying the agenda item. So again, we will have general public comment at the end, but if for this agenda item, the comments are about whether the fire department should be able to receive the safety equipment. Okay, so we'll go to Ms. Groves, followed by Bridget Hart.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. You've ignored us and refused to speak against Sal's behavior or censure his racist and abusive attacks against your constituents in the movement to hold.
And again, do you have comments on this agenda item?
You've watched him verbally attack us during council.
Bridget Hart, do you have comments on safety equipment for the fire department?
Mayor Kate, city council members, you enable Sal's egregious misconduct.
Laura Hudson, do you have comments on safety equipment for the fire department, followed by Marissa Leyva?
Sal, an elected official, was lobbying and using his influence.
Marissa, do you have comments on the fire department?
Yes, so I signed up today to speak on this item about the breathing apparatuses for the fire department because there's no agenda item to talk about Sal and how he's been texting.
Oh my God! Oh, mute this. This is too funny.
And again, any member of the public may speak on the public comment item. Ian, do you have any comments on whether we should provide safety equipment for firefighters?
Yes, hi, thank you. I think it's very interesting that council members are laughing about how many people think that it's important that we talk about Sal DeCiccio. So I really would like.
April McHugh will be next, followed by Helen. April, do you have any comments on safety equipment for the fire department?
Hi, Mayor and Council. I did want to express my opposition to item 65 because Sal DeCiccio abused his power to help MCAO.
Helen, followed by Jacob.
In solidarity with Black leadership and in light of news, Sal, Jerry, Plea, and MCAO have attempted to refile false charges and make an example out of the protesters. And
Jacob, followed by Brandon.
Mayor, Jacob is not on the line.
All right. Do we have any additional speakers for this agenda item?
Brandon is on the line, Mayor.
Can you hear me?
Okay, thank you. Brandon, please go ahead.
Yeah, on this agenda item 65, I don't think the fire department should receive U.S. federal funding since nearly all of the city's funding goes to the Phoenix Police Department, who worked with Sal DeCiccio against and Alistair Adele, County Attorney.
Staff, do we have any additional speakers on 65?
Mayor, Veronica is on the line.
Oh, thank you. Veronica, please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I do not support funding for safety equipment until we are able to talk about Sal's abuse of power. What was that evil villain laugh just now?
And then our final speaker on this item will be Patricia.
Hi there. Thank you, Mayor Kate. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes. What a disruption today. I do fully support the Phoenix Fire Department receiving funds for their breathing apparatus. We know that the fire department actually helps people and they should get the funding that they need to do that. I am concerned, though, that this is a public safety section and council is sitting there ignoring the fact that Sal DeCiccio is colluding to file false charges against protesters.
Thank you. We'll turn now to council members. Do we have any council questions? Councilmember Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. I support item 65. I think our fire department needs to have the necessary equipment to do their job. But I do want to acknowledge the frustration of folks who are calling for this item. I want to stress that this wouldn't be an issue if at our Public Safety and Justice Subcommittee we were discussing the multiple investigations into the police department or addressing the collusion to deny our constituent their rights. I do think these are serious issues, and I hope that our Public Justice and Safety Subcommittee actually starts taking some of these on. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional comments? Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
Yes, of course.
Garcia,
Yes.
Guardado,
Yes.
O'Brien. I apologize. I didn't hear that. O'Brien.
Yes.
Thank you. Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Pastor,
Yes, and I support Councilman Garcia's request.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 9-0.
We next move to item 74, which is a Rebuilding American Infrastructure and Sustainability and Equity RAISE grant. This is a project taking place in Council Districts 7 and 8, and I will turn to Councilwoman Ansari.
Thank you, Mayor. Continuing on the theme of good news from some of the items today, want to echo my excitement for this item. It was about a month ago that Keeney and Mario joined my team and I for our District 7 infrastructure tour to spotlight how the Rio Salado revitalization could be fast-tracked thanks to federal funding. So this specific RAISE grant was an immediate action step that they actually shared with community members such as the South Central Collaborative, leadership from the Audubon Center, and residents who joined us to reimagine this area, and now it is here. Very exciting. This has the potential to be a $35 to $40 million investment in health and connectivity, where the city will only be responsible for 30% of the funds. So fingers crossed that this goes through, and huge congratulations to all city staff who have been involved. And with that, I move to approve item 74, Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity grant.
Second.
A motion and a second. Additional comments? Councilwoman or Vice Mayor.
I have, I want to congratulate this piece of moving this forward. I had some constituents seek me this week regarding making sure that we stick true to our plan, and especially in planning. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we are talking about the Rio Salado, and a lot of efforts went into the planning and what that should look like in the future. And there are some pockets or some areas that I'm aware of that it's not falling in line with that plan. And so as we continue to invest, I would like for all of us to look at how we stay true to the community's vision and our vision, and making sure that the development does happen the way the community would like to see it. And so I just wanted to make those comments. So congratulations.
Any additional comments? I am looking forward to supporting this item. Rio Reimagined has long been a priority for so many of our elected officials here, and this will be a major step forward. But Councilman Ansari, that's quite a tour, and then here we have a grant moving forward just a few days later, so congratulations. I'm excited to share with you all that this morning, the Maricopa Association of Governments voted unanimously to provide a letter in support of this project. I know we have very robust support from our congressional delegation as well, and think this has a very good chance of being successful. It's consistent with many of the administration's priorities. Here we are investing in an impacted community. This will have pedestrian safety implications if we can really create a mobility corridor along the riverfront. I'm also really excited about just creating a beautiful space. People love our river. Phoenix would not exist without it, and there's something very inspiring about that space. The more we can invest in making it accessible to all, the more benefits we will get. So really looking forward to sending this project forward. Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Guardado,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Pastor,
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 9-0.
What a day. We next move to item 100, which is a zoning district at 27th Avenue and Baseline Road in District 8. I will turn to Councilmember Garcia for a motion.
Sorry, was on mute. Motion to approve item 100.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second. We do have one member of the public to address us. Mark Rodriguez, the floor is yours.
Hello, Mayor Kate Gallego, konnichiwa, bonjour, and hola, and members of the City Council and Vice Mayor Laura Pastor. It's good to hear from you again. How y'all doing today? I missed you guys.
We're doing great, Mark.
Well, it's 27th Avenue and Baseline. I always go over there so I can go all that the stores and all that stuff because I'm kind of having fun with you guys because I kind of miss you, all of you guys, including you, all of you guys. And, you know, you're kind of cool. You're kind of awesome. You're kind of what's up with me. And thanks for all your support for me. And I want to give you guys a shout out for the first time since my absence. Yasmin Asari, Carlos Garcia, Laura Pastor, Vice Mayor, konnichiwa, Betty Wangado, Jim Waring, Sal DeCiccio. You're not my type, Sal. I'm not a fan of you, dude, but I respect you, dude. And of course, Mayor Kate Gallego, because I miss you, all of you guys, because I'm trying to be, even though I'm autistic person, because I know all about the streets and all about the neighborhoods and all that stuff, because I've been living for like 12 years. And also, everybody, I like seeing you guys. And Vice Mayor Laura Pastor, I hope you learn to do Japanese, because I love me some Japanese, because I love me some food and all that. You have a great time, and I'm having you have a wonderful time, Mayor Kate Gallego and members of the City Council. Have a wonderful day. Peace out.
Thank you, Mark, for your support of the zoning district at 27th Avenue and Baseline. Any comments?
Mark, I don't
Roll call.
cook.
What?
I said, Mark, I don't cook. I'll take you out for Japanese.
Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
Vice Mayor, you and I found something in common. I don't cook either, but I do know how to eat. I vote yes. Thank you, Mayor.
Garcia,
Yes.
Guardado,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Pastor,
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Woohoo!
Passes 9-0.
That concludes the agendized portion of our meeting. We now move to public comment, and I'll turn to our city attorney to introduce this part of the meeting.
Thank you, Mayor. During citizen comment, members of the public may address the City Council for up to 3 minutes on issues of interest or concern to them. The citizen comment session is for up to 30 minutes. The Arizona Open Meeting Law permits the City Council to listen to the comments, but prohibits council members from discussing or acting on the matters presented.
Thank you. We'll begin with Ms. Groves, followed by Bridget Hart.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I'm sorry, I had a background there. I apologize. 1 second. In solidarity with Black leadership and in light of the news revealing text message exchanges that prove Sal DiCiccio Police Chief Jerry Williams, Phoenix Law Enforcement Association, and Maricopa County Attorney's Office attempted to refile false charges to make an example of protesters against police violence in hopes of silencing and deterring our First Amendment rights, I'm restating these demands from August 2021. Fire Chief Williams, Sergeant McBride, and all officers who played a role in fabricating and approving gang charges against protesters, disband Phoenix Law Enforcement Association, pay reparations to every person politically targeted by Phoenix police. There is overwhelming publicly available evidence around this collusion, including Sal DiCiccio's involvement, and you all still have nothing to say about it. I bet you thought that Alistair Adele was going to take the hit for all of you by resigning so that you can all go back to business as usual, being complicit with Sal's egregious misconduct and continuing to support state-sanctioned anti-Black police violence by utterly refusing to hold anyone accountable for it. But Adele's resignation was just the beginning, and we are not going away. So I'll just repeat the demands. Fire Chief Williams, Sergeant McBride, and all officers who played a role in fabricating and approving gang charges against protesters, disband Phoenix Law Enforcement Association, and pay reparations to every person politically targeted by Phoenix police. And last but not least, which I'm sure you're going to hear more about, you need to hold Sal accountable.
Thank you. Bridget is next, followed by Laura Hudson.
And council, thank you very much. Mayor Kate and council, this is a national case and you've said nothing. You oversee the deadliest police department in the nation. And after seeing corrupt Sal in the news and your silence, I am appalled. I am appalled and devastated by your apathy and your disregard for true public safety or justice. You support and you promote further violence from PPD by funding them and refusing to use your power to hold them accountable. We have to create citizens petitions to literally force you to focus on what is actually important to the people who need protection from your violent killer cops. I have lived in this state for over 15 years, and I provided services to people with developmental disabilities and serious mental illness as well. I ended up in a position where I had to teach my staff not to call 911 because it was so deadly and damaging to their life, their well-being, their ongoing care if they had any interaction with Phoenix police officers. It is egregious, again, I repeat, that you have not addressed this issue publicly, quickly. Sal DiCiccio, you should be ashamed of yourself. I feel that. And we are coming for you all. I'm done.
Laura is next, followed by Ben.
Sal DiCiccio, an elected official, was lobbying on behalf of plea to the MCAO, a supposedly impartial independent agency, in order to silence and cage police critics and critics of himself. Everyone involved knew those charges were false, yet DiCiccio used his influence to push the county attorney to continue violating people's rights by refiling false charges. The evidence is overwhelming, and not a single one of you all have condemned Sal's misconduct. Why is that? Did you all also want to squelch the movement against Phoenix police violence? If you disagree with his actions, we need to hear from you. You cannot even begin to distance yourself from Sal's appalling actions if you are not willing to publicly condemn them. And if you really want to prove you disapprove of this conduct, you will meet the demands from last August. Fire Chief Williams, Sergeant McBride, and all the officers who played a role in fabricating and approving gang charges against protesters. Disband Phoenix Police Law Enforcement Association. They're toxic. They're dangerous. And pay reparations to every person politically targeted by the Phoenix Police. Y'all need to make it right. It's your job. You need to do your job. I'm done.
Ben is next, followed by Marissa.
I just double check and make sure you can hear me.
Yes.
I also signed up to comment on 65, and y'all didn't have a call on me, so a little disappointed about that. I am here also to talk about the wild amount of corruption and mismanagement in our public safety department writ large. I'm also just really frustrated with how impossible it is to get in touch with council to even tell you how I'm feeling about these things. You turn chat off in WebEx meetings. I mean, y'all could turn that back on. That'd be fine. That'd be a good way to get feedback from folks. Called into the office, y'all aren't responding to stuff like that. I mean, you're just really trying hard not to listen to us when we show up and tell you exactly what's wrong and exactly what needs to be done about it. So we have the most violent police force in the nation again. And we're finding out at the same time that the chief of police is colluding with a city council member who is in charge of the public safety subcommittee, is the only person who can add agenda items to the public city subcommittee to politically charge people who disagree with them. I mean, this is fascism. This isn't democracy. And all you do is just smile and pat yourself on the back about some federal grants you're dispersing while hiding behind having your cameras off. These stated COVID protocols that make sure that you have no fear of input from the community. I mean, there would be hundreds of people here if y'all really wanted to hear from us, but y'all don't. So we come back again and again and again to tell you the exact same thing. We told you Sal was corrupt then. We told you what was going on then. Now it's obvious to everyone, not just here, but nationwide, based in part by stuff that is recorded in open meeting, you idiot. I mean, come on, it's all happening right here. And what we've got going on is evidence made public by reputable local news, things available through open meeting laws, and recorded in this chamber. It is clear that collusion and conspiracy against voters and residents of Phoenix has been occurring between the city, members of the council, the county prosecutor's office, and the police union, police. We spend $1 billion a year on public safety because of this corruption. Not counting the countless lawsuits that we are going to have to pay for out of taxpayer money because the people that you think keep us safe do nothing but harm us. $1 billion a year. So pursuant to Chapter 4, Section 22 of the Phoenix City Charter, I, Ben Willett, a citizen and resident of Phoenix.
Marissa is next, followed by Lachey.
Hi, first off, how dare you? To go on with business as usual while the city of Phoenix is engulfed in probably the largest political corruption scandal in recent history is appalling. My name is Marissa Leyva. I'm one of the 15 people charged as a fictitious gang member. But what many of you may not know is that I was actually born in District 6 with Sal DiCiccio as my council member. I grew up, graduated from Desert Vista High School, and came of legal voting age in District 6 as Sal's constituent. And I knew him as the vocally oppositional to the status quo, resentless council member about issues facing his community. But when I stood up against the violent and racist police force directly harming my community, Sal responded by personally trying to put me behind bars for the remainder of my life, where I likely would have died incarcerated. And unfortunately, I've come to know Sal well because he's made sure of that by calling me a whack job not based in reality on a public city council meeting and featuring me on his pathetically juvenile Mean Tweet Tuesday. But now that it's gone well past schoolyard taunts, it's irresponsible that not a single one of you has addressed it, seeing as you were all made aware of a $77 million notice of claim against all of you over a week ago. The only statement that came from council after this news was Sal's delusional, inaccurate, and unhinged response about prosecuting those who destroyed our city. And this statement is not only verifiably false, but it demonstrates the kind of dangerous targeted harassment that Sal deals best in, which has in the past led to my inboxes being flooded with death threats and my family's home targeted. Like, this isn't a joke. It's not a game. This is an elected official enthusiastically abusing the powers of his position to harass and aid in the prosecution of his political opponents. And you are all complicit in allowing him to do so. I'm more than happy to tell all of you where to shove your statements of deep regret. So it's time to start actually listening to us. Act, or the community will act for you. And Sal, you may think that you're on a one-man crusade to uncover waste in the city of Phoenix, but you already accomplished that. It's you, Sal. You're a complete waste of human life, and you should resign in absolute shame.
Lachey is next, followed by Ian.
Lachey, are you on the line? You may proceed.
We'll go next to Ian, followed by April.
Hi, can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. My name is Ian LaPiccolo. I'm a resident of South Phoenix and specifically District 8. I hope y'all can understand why we had to disrupt the city council meeting today to talk about what we needed to talk about. It really is quite surprising as a member of a resident of Phoenix to know that it is so hard to get city council to talk about the issue that so many people in Phoenix want to hear from council about. It is really disgusting to me that there has been a lack of public statements or comments by any council members or the mayor around the scandal surrounding the known false gang charges brought by the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, and in collusion with the Phoenix Police Department, and now that we know a city council member, Sal DeCiccio, as well. In not taking action or addressing any of these crimes, the council and the mayor's office have become complicit in them, and it is really hard to trust in my government or to celebrate in the wins that you guys are celebrating when I know that my friends, my family, the people around me are being persecuted by you, and that you can still laugh about it while we're trying to present and bring up those issues. It's also come to my attention that many council members don't even know about these issues or aren't staying on up to date on them about all of the emerging evidence coming out. And so I challenge all of you to use your offices and the power that you have to research these issues and stay on top of them so that when we come and bring these issues to you, they aren't a surprise and you don't not know about them. It's really disgusting that you can be a sitting council member and not know that the people sitting around the table with you have been implicated and their text messages have been come out to say that they were also trying to falsely charge protesters with charges that they knew were false. To say that an umbrella or manicured nails are somehow weapons to be used against one of the most armed police forces in the nation, and one that gets 75% of the total overall budget that my taxes and the taxes of the people around me provide to the city. 75% of the overall budget. And you guys are not worried about the fact that known false charges were brought, and then when they were taken away with prejudice, that they somehow were still, people were communicating and texting to bring them back, and joke about the fact that hey, let's bring those back, and try to suppress people's First Amendment rights even further because we don't like that they have to talk about the Phoenix Police Department. The Phoenix Police Department is deadly, and it really hurts people. And so I challenge y'all to acknowledge that the system was designed to allow you to not have to know about these issues, to allow you to continue your regular council meeting without thinking about these issues or addressing them. And I challenge you to think beyond the scope and the rules and the regulations that your offices make you think about a lot. Go beyond those and think about what you can actually do with the power that you have as sitting council members and as the mayor to address these issues that have caused so much harm in my community. Thank you.
April is next, followed by Helen.
Hi, everyone. April McHugh, District 6 in North Phoenix. Sal DeCiccio abused his power to help Maricopa County Attorney's Office target and falsely charge people who speak out against police violence. Sal, an elected official, was lobbying on behalf of PLEA to MCAO, which is supposedly an impartial, independent agency, in order to silence and cage police critics. Everyone involved knew those charges were false, yet DeCiccio used his influence to push the county attorney to continue violating people's rights by refiling these false charges. The DOJ is doing a fake investigation and somehow hasn't even looked at the MCAO yet. Phoenix Police Department is being investigated for being white supremacists who exploit their power to send their critics to prison. Chief Jerry is colluding and lying, yet mayor and council think all is well and have nothing to say. Your audacity to show up and carry on a council meeting as if you aren't totally complicit in perpetuating all these atrocities, this is the epitome of this system. This system was designed to work like this, so we will continue to work to get you all out of office and build a whole new system. You must speak out and demand DeCiccio never have decision-making power ever again, and also pay reparations to everyone who's been falsely charged. Come on already, do something. Thank you.
Helen is next, followed by Patricia.
Hi, Council. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, Council. Hard to hear Sal giggling and laughing. Did he really come up here and talk about racial disparities and discrimination in real estate? What about the racial discrimination happening in our courtrooms? Not only has our community endured the wrath of political prosecutions, but our community has also had to endure verbal abuse and the dismissal at the hands of Councilman Sal DeCiccio, who has also been lobbying on behalf of PLEA to MCAO, a supposedly impartial independent agency, in order to silence and cage police critics. That's disturbing to hear him giggling and laughing like that. But you know what? In solidarity with Black leadership and in light of news, Sal, Jerry, PLEA, and the MCAO, you all have tried to refile false charges and make an example out of protesters in hopes of silencing and deterring our 1A rights. And I'm restating these demands from August of last year, y'all. August of last year. The first one is still to fire Chief Jerry Williams, Sergeant McBride, and all the officers that played a role in fabricating and approving gang charges against protesters. And number 2, to disband the Phoenix Law Enforcement Association. Number 3, pay reparations to every person politically targeted by Phoenix police. Y'all need to reenact a resolution to create definitive policy changes that prevent this level of collusion and conspiracy. No more direct communication with MCAO regarding specific cases unless it's to advance for innocence. I yield the rest of my time.
Patricia is next, followed by Brandon.
Thank you, Mayor Kate. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. So I am also here in support of the Black abolitionist leadership that is calling for City Council to acknowledge and do something about Councilman Sal's collusion to refile false charges to imprison protesters against police violence. I'm also reading a citizen's petition for Matthew Aguilar, who is currently ill and couldn't be here to do it. Pursuant to Chapter 5 of Section 22 of the Phoenix City Charter, Matthew Aguilar enacts a resolution to produce all documents related to Phoenix Police Department's response to protests, citizen and, oh, excuse me. Matthew Aguilar's comments are as such. 1, to enact a resolution to disband plea. 2, to enact a resolution to demand public negotiations for any and all Phoenix Police Department's MOU negotiations. 3, that City Council enacts a resolution to make amends with the victims. The City of Phoenix must pay reparations to all victims of Phoenix Police Department's attempt to file known false gang charges and imprison protesters. And last, the final enactment for Phoenix City Council. City Council must enact a resolution to produce all documents related to Phoenix Police Department's response to the protests in 2020 and Phoenix Police Department's attempts to politically prosecute protesters in collusion with the Maricopa County Attorney's Office so that we can finally understand what took place and what was involved. This includes all of Councilman Sal DeCicio's emails and text messages to anyone in plea, all of Councilman DeCicio's emails and text messages to Phoenix Police Department employee from May 2020 to present, any emails that Sal sent to any Maricopa County attorney employee from May 2020 to present, all of Chief Williams and Assistant Chief Kurtenbach's emails and text messages regarding the protests in 2020 and to the present date. We want Commander Lawrence Hines, John Collins, Gabriel Lopez emails, and any text messages regarding protests in 2020 to present, including all of Sergeant Doug McBride's emails and text messages regarding the protests. Lieutenant Ben Moore's email and text messages from 2020 until the present, and any text messages and emails from any Phoenix police officer who was placed on administrative leave related to the protests in 2020. Finally, all of the text messages from any and all Phoenix police officers currently being criminally investigated by the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office for their misconduct related to the protests. And any presentations at Phoenix Police Department made to this council regarding the 2020 protest. We want the 21st Century Solution Report and the ASU report. Thank you very much for giving us all materials that the Department of Justice was provided as well.
Brandon is next, followed by Veronica.
Hey there, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hey, my name is Brandon Valentine, one of the 39 people who was politically charged with crimes I never committed. I'm embarrassed to be represented by such a callous and ineffective group of elected officials. The collective power of this community took down a tyrannical county attorney who's held reign over the third largest prosecutorial agency in the United States. And if you think for 1 second this community can't tear you out of your cute little city council seats, you might want to rethink that. D6 Rep Sal DeCicio has had a direct hand in the political charging of protesters. He's equally as responsible for those 180 drop cases because his focus was prosecuting political oppositions and putting innocent people in prison for decades instead of prosecuting potential actual criminals whose victims may be some of your constituents. Mayor Kate Gallego, I've heard you've been recently nominated for a mayoral award. Let me start by saying that to even call you a mayor is a long shot at best. An investigation paid for by taxpayers confirmed the misconduct we've been saying since the summer of 2020, and you're okay knowing there's misconduct, giving your constituents money to those who are still actively involved in this. The DOJ is actively investigating the Phoenix Police Department being literal neo-Nazis, and you've done nothing. Nothing to even say? Are you serious? What kind of elected official are you? What this conglomerate of corrupt public officials has done to its own citizens is insidious. All of you on this council are spineless human beings who should never hold a position that's responsible for holding anyone accountable. None of you would even know accountability if the definition was screened via projector on the side of City Hall. You're all inept to do the job you're elected to do. All of you need to step down immediately, otherwise this resilient and relentless community is coming for your jobs. And you might want to ask Alistair Adele how that went for her. You all have a long rope to hang yourselves with. Don't make it any longer. Disrespectfully, thanks.
Veronica is next, followed by Chelsea.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Wonderful.
Mayor Kate, City Council members, you enabled Sal's misconduct. You've ignored your constituents and refused to speak against his behavior or censure his racist and abusive attacks against your constituents in the movement to hold police accountable. You watched him verbally attack us during city council meetings since 2017 as he called us liars and lunatics for speaking about the very harms ABC 15 News has proven. You should be ashamed. Your silence makes you complicit with his abusive power. Mayor Kate and Council, this is a national case and you've said nothing. We cannot trust that the DOJ, aka other cops, will hold these Phoenix cops accountable. This is the same Department of Justice that found Breonna Taylor's killers justified in their use of force. It is you who are elected to represent us and keep us safe in Phoenix. We are your constituents speaking to you today from your varying districts, asking for you to listen to us, to see that the same police who are supposed to protect and serve here in the Valley are the same ones who target, kill, and cage our neighbors. Mayor Kate, I am also a big fan of using the tools at my disposal, but as your constituent, I do not feel like I have any tools in my toolbox right now. Since you will not listen and you pretend not to see, what are we to do? I do not feel represented by anyone currently in office. I live in District 4, and my council representative told community organizers those corrupt charges would never be dropped, that corrupt County Attorney Alistair Adele would never be removed from office in a state like Arizona. Corrupt officials who ignore injustices will be removed from office. City Council, my public servants, will you help hold your people accountable? I yield the rest of my time.
Chelsea is next, followed by Vanessa.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So there's a lot to talk about today. We could talk about Sal, our corrupt council member. We could talk about Jerry Williams, our corrupt police chief. We could talk about the collusion between the two of them and Plea and the MCAO. But I want to take a moment to focus on our mayor, who has done absolutely nothing to hold these individuals and offices accountable. Instead, she's running ad campaigns on social media asking that we vote for her for an award she's been nominated for. This is her priority at a time when her city is in crisis, when the DOJ is actively investigating her police department, which is the most deadly in the nation. Mayor Kate, your focus on shameless self-promotion when so many important issues need your attention is tacky and insensitive. Mass Liberation has been using social media to agitate for real change, holding Alistair Adele accountable when you refused, and even told us, while calling us names, Sal, that it couldn't be done. I suggest you, Mayor Kate, shift your priorities and do the job you were elected to do. With that being said, pursuant to Chapter 4, Section 22 of the Phoenix City Charter, I, Chelsea Hickok, a citizen and resident of the City of Phoenix, hereby petition the City Council to do the following. Enact a resolution calling on Phoenix City Council to hold Sal DeCiccio accountable for his unethical and abusive conduct at Phoenix City Council meetings, and enact a resolution to investigate and remove Sal DeCiccio from his seat on council. Thank you. I yield my time.
Vanessa is next, followed by Andrew.
I'm reading a citizen's petition in solidarity with Black leadership. Pursuant to Chapter 4, Section 22 of the Phoenix City Charter, I, Vanessa DiCarlo, a citizen and resident of the City of Phoenix, hereby petition the City Council to enact a resolution to fire and remove pensions from anyone and everyone who was involved in the conspiracy to imprison protesters from 2020 uprising, including but not limited to Chief Jerry Williams, Sergeant Doug McBride, Plea President Britt London, and any other officer who colluded to create and refile known false gang charges. In addition to that, Mayor Kate, when you sit in silence with full awareness that Councilman DeCiccio has been outed for abusing the power, openly exchanging text messages with his office, and conspiring to help MCAO target and falsely charge people who speak out against the very police violence that you are supposedly addressing or say to address or put out any sort of messages from your office, it is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. I am restating these demands from way back in August. We're still here in solidarity with Black leadership to number 1, fire Chief Williams, Sergeant McBride, and all officers who played a role in fabricating and approving gang charges against protesters. Number 2, disband, plea the Phoenix Law Enforcement Association. Number 3, pay reparations to every person politically targeted by Phoenix police. The response of Sal DiCiccio to LAP shows exactly where he is, and he must be held accountable. He must be held accountable. The audacity to show up and carry on a city council meeting as if you aren't all totally complicit in perpetuating these atrocities and standing by and watching this play out. We demand accountability. In solidarity with Black leadership, we demand accountability, and we see that silence. We hear it very loud. Do something. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Andrew.
Hear me? Can you hear me, Mayor Gallego?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Gallego. I'm just changing the topic a little bit here. Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport and its billions of dollars of annual economic impact and hundreds of thousands of jobs, direct and indirect, are an indispensable asset not only for the city of Phoenix, but for the entire state of Arizona. The Phoenix Department of Aviation partners with airlines and the FAA to ensure the safe operation of Sky Harbor Airport. Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport is the busiest airport in the country that can claim that no passenger or airline crew member has ever died on a scheduled airline flight in Phoenix. Unfortunately, Tempe appears determined to approve a hockey arena for the Arizona Coyotes directly under the approach to the center runway at Sky Harbor, threatening the safe operation of Sky Harbor Airport. Former Tempe Mayor Hugh Hallman wrote an opinion in the Phoenix Business Journal, entitled, "Phoenix Hypocrisy Looks to Blunt Tempe's Future Success." I think a city with the benefits of having ASU and the Sun Devils hasn't lost very much future success. The Chase Tower in downtown Phoenix is vacant, while the 2,000 employees who used to work there now work in Tempe. Tempe Town Lake is lined with an array of companies, including Carvana and State Farm. Tempe hypocrites. Tempe benefits immensely from its close proximity to Sky Harbor Airport and has no business questioning the Phoenix Department of Aviation's decisions involving aviation safety. That job is exclusively the FAA's. The Coyotes have had a very checkered record out in the city of Glendale. Meeting after meeting, hundreds of millions of dollars were spent by the city of Glendale supporting the Coyotes. And if Tempe doesn't want to learn the lesson of what happened to Glendale and the financial impact on the city of Glendale, they are determined to repeat history in a way that will not be beneficial for Tempe. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the public comment portion of today's council meeting. We are adjourned.
Different families gets different support, and it was right at that time when we were like in limbo trying to figure out, do we go forward or not, that the Feed Phoenix program came in and sort of give us a boost of morale to say, hey, stay in the game.
So Feed Phoenix took the money that